Everybody, welcome back to the Working Man's Whiskey. I'm Bobby. Uh, Guys, if you watched the last review I did, we did Old Weller Antique, and I said I wanted to review a couple of wheats and then a couple of ryes, and this is the second wheat that we'll review today, or that we'll review um, that I was talking about. It's Rebel Yell, and Rebel Yell and Old Weller are connected. When back in the late 1800s, early 1900s, when Weller and Stitzel combined to form the Weller Stitzel distilling company, that's where they made that's where Pappy's came from. That's when Pappy's was born. Using the wheat for the bourbons, and anyway. For the 100th anniversary of the merge for the Weller Stitzel company, this was created. Rebel Yell was created. It does say it says 1849 on the bottle. I believe 1849 was actually when Weller came into existence, but this was like the 100th anniversary whiskey that was created for that company, and it's passed through a few hands over the years, and here it is today. And today it's actually put out by Luxco in Louisville, Kentucky. And kind of a cool story behind Rebel Yell. You guys might know it already, might not. But the Billy Idol song, Rebel Yell, wasn't inspired by the Confederate, I guess you could call it the war cry or whatever, but it was inspired by this whiskey here. And the story goes that Billy Idol and Keith Richards from the Rolling Stones were swigging this whiskey together, and then Mick Jagger joined in with them. He was swigging it, and just having a good time, pounding Rebel Yell, and Billy Idol asked the Stones if they'd mind if he used Rebel Yell for a song idea, and they said, yeah, go for it, and became a huge hit. So kind of a cool thing, if those guys are drinking Rebel Yell, or they were drinking Rebel Yell, it's a whiskey that makes for a good time, I guess. So anyway, let's pop this bottle open, give it a pour. As I said, guys, this is a wheated whiskey, or a wheater as they call them. And last time, like I said, we reviewed Old Weller Antique, which is like a 6 or 7 year old aged whiskey, 107 proof. You remember the dark color and all that. Well, this one, Rebel Yell, it hasn't been aged as long. I want to say, I don't have the age statement, so apologize for that, but I want to say it's probably around somewhere between a 4 and a 6 year old whiskey. My guess would be closer to 4. But it's 80 proof, 40% ABV, and it's just totally different color here on sight, I guess you could say, on the eye. It's just it's kind of a gold. It's a light gold, or like a light amber or gold color, we'll say. But it is, as a wheater, it's probably going to have some of the same characteristics, some different ones too, than Old Weller does. Just probably slightly different mash bills. Although I was also reading some stuff about Poor Man's Pappy that we talked about last time, and they say that you can, Weller is the stuff to use because it's the same mash bill as Pappy's, and they recommend that you use Old Weller Antique when you're making that. But they said that you can also, I've read that you can also make it using Rebel Yell. Probably give you a slightly different product, but I mean, this is a good bargain whiskey, so it might be a little bit better on your wallet. I mean, the Old Weller, this is about half the price of the Old Weller Antique. The Old Weller Antique goes from probably low 20s to $30, and Rebel Yell goes from anywhere around $10 to say $15. So you're looking at right around half the price. So anyway, let's give this a nose. And guys, I do want to say, sorry, I know I always kind of get sidetracked, but I do want to say that I've heard from some people that that they didn't really like Rebel Yell that much. That's a little harsh or something, and as you can see, this isn't my first drink from this bottle. I have had a couple of drinks of this before, a few sips. So I just want to say I disagree. That this is a very good, especially if you want to try a wheated whiskey, wheated bourbon. I would definitely recommend Rebel Yell. It's I'd say a low to medium shelf whiskey. It's a little bit easier on the wallet than some of the other ones, some of the other wheaters. This is probably the cheapest wheater I've found. I mean, you're going to pay more for Old Weller, you're going to pay more for Makers, and a little bit more for Larceny and some of the others. So anyway, back on track. Let's take a nose. And on the nose, guys, you definitely get that kind of classic wheat smell. You can tell this is going to be kind of a softer, not so spicy whiskey is, just regular bourbons, because I mean, the rye and the mash bill for those, the wheat in this one, wheat tends to give a product a smoother, kind of just a smoother taste on the palate, I guess you could say, because it doesn't have all that spice in it. But you get that wheat. You get a lot of, you get some honey in here, some kind of some subtle sweetness, a little bit of corn, a little bit of the oak, little floral. I won't try not to give you guys 20 things that I'm getting here, but those are pretty much the things I'm getting on the nose. Let's go for a taste. And guys, on the taste, you get that that softness from the wheat. You do, maybe some people mistake this for harshness or whatever, but you do get a little bit of a spice in there, a little bit just on the back of the tongue, get some spice. I don't think it's harshness, it reminds me of some of the spice you get from a rye bourbon. I don't know if this has any spice in it whatsoever, or any rye in it whatsoever in the mash bill, but you do get a little bit of spice, maybe some baking spice or something like that in the back of your tongue. You do get some oak too. Let's give it another taste. Get a little bit of vanilla in there. Just that's what I'm tasting. I'm tasting that softness from the wheat. the little bit of spice. Maybe the spice comes from the oak. You know, you can get that little bit of like spicy wood in there. Um, you know, some as I said, vanilla. Um, you know, it's just it's a nice whiskey, guys. There's nothing too crazy about this. You know, there's kind of on the finish. There's a little bit of a say a like a I guess they say like a saddle note, you know, but it's like a little bit of like leather, you know, and it's hey, I like that. It tastes good. But anyway, it's you can see. I don't know if you can actually see from there, but it kind of sticks to the glass a little bit, you know, and the wheaters have a way of doing that. You know, I think the wheat gives it a little bit of a thicker consistency. So that's kind of a cool little quality. I kind of like the thicker whiskeys, you know. Guys, for $9 to $15 a bottle, I would definitely recommend getting some Rebel Yell, especially if you've never had a wheated whiskey before. This is definitely one to break you in. I mean, you know, you can taste the difference between a wheater and you know, something that has rye as the secondary grain in the bourbon, like a lot of bourbons do. But Rebel Yell, you know, hopefully you can find it. You know, ask your local store if they can get it for you if they don't have it. So anyway, give it a shot, guys. Mix it, drink it straight, whatever you want to do. Good whiskey, especially for the price. So until next time, cheers.